His voice, Peter Kefalas, with you. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about on this mini segment is it's no secret the MTA cannot take care of the subway system, the buses. They can't take care of anything. Complete incompetence, fraud, mismanagement, waste. You name it. They're just a horrible the worst transportation agency in the world, the most bloated, worst run. I mean, just disgrace, as anyone who lives in New York City knows. So let me ask you guys this. What do you think of the light rail proposal that some of our elected officials are gung ho about? Because apparently there is a huge demand for some type of light rail to go between Jackson Heights or Elmhurst and Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, right? I personally think it's ridiculous. And let me tell you why. The MTA's broke. They're trying to squeeze every dollar out of us, congestion pricing. They beg Albany, they beg Washington for money every year. We all have seen the stories, right? It's just same movie over and over. It's like watching Home Alone during, Christmas. It's a rerun. You're going to see the same story all the time. So why would we want to expand the MTA, their network, their infrastructure, when they can't manage the infrastructure they have now? They simply cannot. They're not competent. They're not they're not able to manage the infrastructure that we have now. The world's largest subway. It's old, but it's the world's largest subway system. They can't manage that. They can't get their bus system correct. Obviously, places like Brooklyn and Queens and Staten Island, a lot of areas that are remote from subways, have been suffering for decades and probably will always be suffering. It's just terrible. But why would we think that's a good idea? I mean, I just can't fathom why. But let me be cynical and say, perhaps I have the answer. I wonder who these companies are that would be building it, and I wonder who they've made donations to. Just thinking out loud. Maybe some of you watching this are as well. Just thinking out loud, who stands to benefit from it? I don't see the public benefit from it, because I really don't think we need a light rail that's going to go between Elmhurst, Queens, or Jackson Heights, Queens, and then it's going to go out to Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. I just don't see such a demand of those two neighborhoods having to have a light rail to get back and forth. I don't see such an economic, not like there's two major shopping centers or anything like that people are flocking to spend money on. So it doesn't make sense. The city's going broke. We're going to have to hire a lot more people. This is going to probably cost us 10 times whatever the number is. We know how New York City works. You say 10 billion, it'll probably be 50 billion. Just throwing numbers out there. I don't know the actual numbers. I forgot I read the article, but it's pretty bad. And a part here in Regal Park, they would like to dig a tunnel somewhere from Queens Boulevard over to Fleet Street. So for those of you who live in the Regal Park, Forest Hills area, or even our neighbors in Elmhurst or Middle Village, you're probably familiar with these streets. What is that going to encompass for the residents? I personally live in that area. I don't want that. How much disruption is it going to cause for how many years? We don't know exactly where they plan on putting these terminals or these tunnels. We just know that they're going to expand lightly used commercial tracks and a lightly used commercial tunnel. But they're also talking about, if I read another article correctly, that they want to do something underneath Juniper Valley Park, one of the nicest parks in the city, that not too far from my house, that I go to with my family often, especially when the weather's nice. So they want to do what over there? Create some kind of tunnel, expand it. It just seems like a real boondoggle. It seems like it's going to disrupt many communities, and it seems like no one's going to benefit but those who are making it and those who perhaps are in power right now, who are going to be pushing it. And I'm just being cynical. We have to see where these companies have been donating their money to, what elected officials. And are those the same elected officials, the big pushers behind this program? There's also something else that actually a young lady reporter stopped me outside of my house a couple of years ago and asked me about, and they want to mimic the High Line in Manhattan, which is the meatpacking district, right, where the trains used to come in, bring the meat, take the meat out, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, that neighborhood is not a meatpacking area anymore. Things have changed, obviously. Things evolve. But what they want to do here in Queens now, in parts of Rego Park, Forest Hills, Ridgewood, it goes throughout a lot of areas here. They want to utilize the abandoned Long Island Railroad trains, the lines, I should say, and create some kind of Highland Park. So we don't have enough police to take care of the parks that we currently have. We don't have enough people to clean them because they're filthy and disgusting. We don't have enough people to maintain them because plenty of parks are busted up throughout the city. But now we're going to add more infrastructure to the Parks Department. Who's going to take care of these things? So what I'm worried about is we're going to have homeless people, whether they're our own or illegal alien homeless people that are setting up tents. It'll be like a little California type setup. We're going to have women who are jogging, sexually assaulted or raped, because it is a isolated type of situation. Those tracks run behind tree lines and forest lines. They don't run too far from my house, to be honest with you. And it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. The city's going broke. We can't take care of our own infrastructure, but we're insisting on adding to the MTA's infrastructure, which is a boondoggle because they are the most mismanaged, incompetent, greedy bastards who want to take all our money all the time. And then we want to add infrastructure to our parks department where our parks aren't being maintained properly and cleaned properly and policed properly because we just don't have enough resources. It is what it is. But now you want to spend more money we don't have and expand that onto rundown old Long Island Railroad tracks. Many of them that go behind people's homes. So I just think it's terrible. But for those of you in particular in the parts of Brooklyn and Queens that would be affected, let us know in the comments what you're thinking. Let us know in the comments if you've heard anything new, because I read a lot of stories and hear a lot of stuff, but there's a lot of different stories, proposals, maybe this, and I don't think as the public we have a good understanding of what's really going to happen or what's really being discussed behind closed doors, if you will, proposals and whatnot, actual cost. So let me know in the comments what you guys think, and please like and subscribe if you haven't done so. Peter Kefalas, Queen's Voice. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Stay strong and be safe. Thanks again, guys. Bye-bye.